The night was colder than usual, the kind of chill that slipped into bones and made the silence of the small town feel heavier. Noah Carter, a struggling mechanic, was walking back from the workshop he had been forced to close early due to overdue bills and lack of customers. His hands were still smeared with grease, his jacket patched in places, but his spirit, though battered, still clung to quiet resilience. It was nearly midnight when he spotted a small car parked on the side of the dimly lit road. Its hazard lights blinked weakly, reflecting in the puddles left by an earlier rain. Next to the car stood a girl, maybe 17, shivering in a thin hoodie, nervously glancing around as if the darkness itself was pressing in on her. Noah slowed down. 1,000 thoughts crossed his mind. He didn't want trouble, and strangers often came with it. But he also knew too well what desperation felt like. With a sigh, he approached. "Hey, you all right there?" he asked, keeping his voice steady and calm. The girl startled, clutching her phone tightly. My car, it just died. I don't know what to do, and my mom's not answering." Her voice cracked, revealing the tremble of fear she was trying hard to hide. Noah studied the car. It wasn't some old rust bucket like most in town. It was sleek, expensive, the kind of car he could never dream of owning. "Mind if I take a look?" he offered, crouching down. She hesitated, then nodded. Something in his tired but gentle eyes reassured her. Noah popped the hood, the warm engine steam brushing against his face. It didn't take long for him to spot the issue: battery connections loose. Something simple, but dangerous if left unattended. He tightened it with the small multi-tool he always carried. "Now, try it now," he said, stepping back. The girl slid into the driver's seat, turned the key, and the car roared back to life. Her face lit up instantly, relief washing over her. "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I thought I was stuck here all night." Noah gave a small smile, rubbing the grease from his hands onto his already stained jacket. "Just a quick fix. You should be fine now." She looked at him curiously, noticing his worn clothes, the tired lines under his eyes. "You're a mechanic?" "Was," Noah admitted, a hint of bitterness in his tone. "Shop's not doing too well these days." The girl hesitated, then reached into her bag. "Here, let me pay you, please. You just saved me." But Noah shook his head firmly. "No. Keep it. Just get home safe. That's enough for me." Her eyes softened. She wasn't used to people refusing money, especially when they clearly needed it. Something about this man's quiet dignity struck her. "Thank you. I'm Sophie," she said softly. "Noah," he replied with a nod. "Now, drive safe, and make sure you tell your mom to get that car serviced properly." She smiled, gave him a small wave, and drove off into the night. Noah watched the red taillights disappear down the road, unaware of how much that brief encounter would change his life. The next morning, Noah dragged himself to his workshop, trying to shake off the memory of the previous night. The bills piled on his desk reminded him of his reality. He needed a miracle, and miracles never seemed to visit men like him. But fate had other plans. Around noon, a black SUV pulled up outside his shabby garage. Out stepped a tall woman in a tailored suit, elegance and authority radiating from her. Her presence alone made the dusty workshop feel suddenly too small. Noah blinked, wiping his hands on a rag. The woman's eyes searched the room before landing on him, and then she smiled faintly. "You must be Noah," she said, in a voice that carried both warmth and power. "Yes, ma'am," I replied cautiously. She extended her hand. "I'm Victoria Lane. My daughter, Sophie, told me about you." Noah froze. Her daughter? His mind reeled. Victoria Lane wasn't just anyone. She was one of the most influential businesswomen in the state, a name he'd only ever heard on the news. And now, she was standing in his broken little garage. I didn't expect you to see you here," he admitted, his voice low. Victoria's smile was calm but direct. Sophie told me how you helped her last night. How you stopped, without hesitation, and refused to take a single dollar from her. That kind of character is rare these days. Noah shifted uncomfortably. Compliments don't pay bills. I'm glad she got home safe. That's all that mattered. Victoria walked slowly around the workshop, her eyes trailing over the dusty shelves, the scattered tools, the worn-out posters from another decade. You've been running this place alone? Yeah, Noah sighed. It was my father's before mine. Business dried up, and now I'm just trying to hold on. Victoria's gaze softened. You see, Noah, Sophie is my only daughter. She means the world to me. Knowing she was stranded in the middle of the night terrifies me. But what touched me most was what she said about you. That even when you clearly needed help yourself, you refused her money. Instead, you chose integrity. Noah lowered his gaze. He wasn't used to being noticed, much less praised. Anyone would have helped her, he muttered. Victoria shook her head firmly. No, not anyone. Most people would have either ignored her or taken advantage of her. You didn't. That's why I came. Noah frowned slightly. Why exactly are you here? Victoria took a business card from her bag and placed it on his workbench. Carter Motors may be small, but your skills aren't. My company owns a chain of luxury car dealerships and service centers. We need someone trustworthy, skilled, and honest to manage one of our newest service branches. I'd like you to consider it. Noah stared at her, stunned. A manager? Him? He had spent years barely scraping by, constantly worrying about eviction and debts. The idea of stepping into something that big seemed unreal. I don't think I'm the guy you're looking for, he said quietly. I'm just a small-town mechanic.
Victoria took a business card from her bag and placed it on his workbench. Carter Motors may be small, but your skills aren't. My company owns a chain of luxury car dealerships and service centers across the state. We need someone trustworthy, skilled, and honest to manage one of our newest service branches. I'd like you to consider it. Noah stared at her, stunned. A manager? Him? He had spent years barely scraping by, constantly worrying about eviction and debts. The idea of stepping into something that big seemed unreal. I don't think I'm the guy you're looking for, he said quietly. I'm just a small-town mechanic. Victoria's voice grew steady, filled with conviction. Sometimes small-town mechanics are exactly who we need. People who know the value of hard work. People who don't let greed blind them. For the first time in years, hope stirred in Noah's chest. He thought of his father, who had built the shop with bare hands, of the nights he'd sat staring at unpaid bills, wondering if life would ever turn around. And now, standing in front of him was an opportunity that felt like destiny knocking. What about this place? He asked softly, glancing at the fading walls of his garage. Victoria gave a gentle smile. That's for you to decide. You can keep it, sell it, or let it go. What matters is the future, not the past. Noah's throat tightened. He extended his hand slowly. If you're serious about this, then I'll do my best. Victoria clasped his hand firmly. Good. I believe you will. At that moment, Sophie peeked from the SUV, her eyes lighting up when she saw Noah agreeing. Told you he was a good man, Mom, she said with a grin. Noah chuckled, shaking his head. Guess I didn't have much of a choice with both of you convincing me. For the first time in a long time, he felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The world, which had seemed so cruel and unfair the night before, now opened its doors to him just because he had chosen kindness without expecting anything in return. As Victoria and Sophie drove away, Noah stood outside his shop, staring at the business card in his hand. The faded paint on the building no longer looked like a mark of failure, but a reminder of where he had come from. For years he had prayed for a break. Who would have thought it would arrive at midnight on a lonely road in the form of a stranded girl and her powerful mother? Noah Carter, the poor mechanic, had just stepped into a new chapter of his life. And this time, he wasn't walking alone.